Matt and Leah, 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 Matt and Leah. Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah. Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah. A pancake!
What is up, boys and girls, everything in between? This is Bear With Us. I'm Matt, and joining me, as always, my lovely life partner, Leah. How are you, my dear?
Can I just say that our song slaps? That's what the kids say. And our song, it slaps. It is so good.
A shout out again to our friend JR from Less Than Jake, who put that masterpiece together.
So good. And also, shout out to Doug and Carrie Heffernan for the inspiration. Mostly Doug Heffernan, because he wrote it. Doug and Carrie, Doug and Carrie, Doug and Carrie, Doug and Carrie. Arthur, Arthur, Arthur.
You just shattered all of the mystique. All
People
of the
know.
credit.
Come on.
Like 4 people knew.
And also, we can't just that's plagiarism if we just say that it's ours.
That's true.
So we have to give credit where it's due.
Okay, fine. That's all the credit that Doug and Carrie Heffernan will ever get from me.
And Arthur, rest in peace.
Yeah, what a loss.
Jerry Stiller.
Total bummer.
What a man.
Absolutely. Lots to get to this week. We are up against it. We are recording this less than 24 hours. Hell,
Woo!
about 14 hours before it drops
Yes.
to you, which is uncharacteristic. We've been trying to stay ahead of the curve, but schedule woes aside, we are here. We are committed to bringing you information and entertainment, or
Well, I
just
think
something
because
to waste
of
time with.
we were apart for the last week, so that's like kind of the inspiration for the topic of this podcast today. So I think we're in it. It's great. We can go based off of what just happened the last week, and we can talk about it.
And what just happened was I have been gone on the road for the last 7 days, and I saw Leah for the first time in person approximately 20 minutes ago. So I'm
and I must
still on
say-
cloud 9.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I knew you were good looking, but when I saw you today, I'm like, oh, you're even better looking than I remember.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's a true thing. It's a true statement, and we're
It
going
is
to
true.
delve into it. I'm excited to dive in because there are many different aspects. Some introspection was done.
Ooh,
Inner reflection, if you will.
I love that.
I missed you very badly. I'm very glad to be back home in Pittsburgh, the greatest city in America, with the greatest girl in America.
What is happening right now?
I'm in a really good
like,
mood.
Loving this.
Well, good. I haven't seen you in 7 days in person, so this
I
is...
wish you guys could see my cheeks. I can't stop smiling.
Well, they can. There is a video element of this.
Oh, yeah.
It'll probably be posted on Instagram or something similar in the near future. But we need to talk about what we've endured, what we suffered through.
It's been a week of hell without you, babe.
Wow, that's the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
I mean, I'm just kidding. I mean, it hasn't been hell, but it's been kind of nice. I mean, and I mean that in the best way possible. Sometimes a little time apart does us good. Don't you think?
I do agree. I know we talked on here several episodes back about how I would love ultimately to spend more days of the week with you than without you. But of course, sometimes life happens and we have jobs and bills to pay. So I've been gone for 7 days, and I was in Florida, in Orlando, which is one of my least favorite places on the planet Earth. And I spent most of these days in my hotel room, locked up, quarantining, which is the recurring theme here on Bear With Us, the genesis of all of this. By this point, I am a professional quarantinee. I feel...
Isn't that like a drink? Aren't people making quarantinis?
I don't know. If they haven't,
That's like a thing.
someone should steal it.
Oh, I want to steal you right now.
Okay, well, that's why we got to blow
This
through
is
this
why
podcast.
this is a problem. This is our first actual conversation we've had face to face in over 7 days. So the fact that I'm looking at you and all I want to do is grab your face and lick the shit out of it, it's like this is hard to just like sit here and not touch you.
Wow.
I'm gonna touch you with my foot.
Okay, cool.
I need to feel your pheromones.
There you go. Let's start from the beginning on this, though. My pheromones are aplenty. Don't
yes.
worry.
Your pheromones and my pheromones are just like they get each other. They vibe. They congeal.
Did you just scientifically explain love? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Our pheromones.
Like, I can sense you when I don't know you're around. I can sense you. It's like a bear, and I can smell you. I'm telling you. I know it sounds crazy, but I like even when we're at work and you're like coming down the hall and you might be behind me, and I'm like, babe, and then I see you and I'm like, because I felt you coming before you did. I know what you're gonna say. Don't go there.
I'm gonna let that high lob just roll right past. I'm not even gonna swing at it.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, it's progress. But I think when I left on Wednesday, we had been together for the better part of
2 weeks.
Yeah, the better part of 2 weeks every day.
All day, every day. And I'm gonna say this, okay? I feel like most couples, they kind of do their own thing, and obviously right now we're in quarantine, and when we're home, like we're not, I'm not going here and there and everywhere. We're doing things together. So we're not working when we're home. So we're together all day, every day. It's not like, oh, you go do your thing. The only time we're apart basically is when I go to the gym and train. Other than that, it's like, oh, I have to go to the farmer's market. Want to come with me? And then, wherever you're going, I go with you. For the most part, we spend all day, every day together.
Right.
What did you say?
Yes. So after approximately 2 weeks of that status quo, would I be remiss in saying I think both of us were kind of like, okay, time to take a deep breath.
Yes, I was definitely ready.
Right.
For a little break.
I think that's the point where you can feel it like, okay, we're not in a fight. We're not mad at each other, but just need to get some fresh air.
Just want to do my own thing for a minute.
Right.
Yeah. And I have to say, I am such a loner. I like to do my own thing, be on my own schedule, which I know has been not an issue with us, but something that I have to get better with in this relationship. And you have to sort of adjust to my way of thinking, because I feel like even when I'm on the road for work, I don't travel with anyone. I like to be where I want to be, when I want to be there, on my own schedule. So to now be in this relationship and live together and do things together all the time, that's a big adjustment for me. So sometimes I miss sort of being able to be on my own schedule and do my own thing.
Sure. So I
don't mean offense by that.
No, none taken. I know exactly what you mean. But you went from being strong, independent woman, honey. I don't need no mans. No mans. You need multiple mans. Is that what we're getting at here?
No.
Okay. Thank God. But yeah, and I think just for everyone's sanity, it's good to be away from your partner once in a while, because it kind of gives you a chance to reset and reflect.
Totally.
Because one of the biggest issues I've had in my past relationships from the time I was in basically high school was I noticed that my partners always seemed to take on all of my characteristics over time.
Ooh, okay. For example?
The most obvious one is the tattoo thing. But when I first start dating someone, I'm interested in them as I know
Wait,
them.
You're saying when you first start dating someone, they get tattoos because you have tattoos?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying over time, all of the things that make me unique to myself,
right,
they sort of absorb. It's like through relationship osmosis. And granted, if you spend enough time around anybody, you're going to pick up traits and things that you like.
Start saying
that's
things,
life.
Yeah.
But I always kind of enjoyed my own individuality in whatever capacity. And by no means am I like this super unique, one-of-a-kind snowflake. Like I'm a dude.
You are.
I'm a dude that likes tattoos and music and, whiskey. It's not like there's that many layers to me. But
you're the onion, baby.
Yeah.
I want to peel you.
This is going to be such a struggle. Such a struggle. Sorry, this is going to be the shortest episode of Bear With Us ever because Leah can't wait to jump my bones. But do you understand what I'm saying? Where I physically am not generally attracted to tattooed women. That's not to say I don't find them attractive, because I do, but that's not the first thing. Like if you were to describe or ask me to describe, physically my ideal woman, tattoos would not be part of the equation.
Which that made me happy when I found that out when we first started dating. So I'm like, man, is he only because I didn't know what your type was or whatever. And I'm like, am I going to need to get tattoos and pierce my face and be like this edgy chick for him to be attracted to me? I didn't know. Obviously, I haven't got tattoos. I mean, I have little baby tattoos, but I don't have sleeves or anything like that. And I haven't pierced my face other than my nose. But I'm like, do I need to transform into, and I obviously wouldn't, but in the beginning that was in the back of my mind. Oh, does he think that I'm attractive, or I didn't know what your type was.
Right. Well, I don't know that I have a type specifically. I mean, I'm sure my friends would actually probably be better to talk about that than me, just because I'm kind of in it. But on the surface, I don't want to date myself. Right. I want somebody to balance me out, somebody that's into different things. And sure, some things I'm going to like, some things I'm going to learn to like, some things I'm never going to like. But I like to have balance and a, for lack of a better term, a yin to my yang, so that I'm not constantly just...
Well, how boring would it be to just be dating yourself or someone just like you? That's so boring.
Right. But I mean, going back to, like I said, it started with the tattoo thing. And then, I'm really big into music and certain types of music and punk rock and different things. And I kind of like being a little bit outside of the norm. Like, that's just kind of where I feel comfortable, and I enjoy that. And I like going, oh, this band. I like to show people bands. I like to show them so that they go, oh, cool. Matt's into that thing. Or, oh, I like this band because my friend told me about them. I don't all of a sudden want to go to your house and you've got all of their albums and their shirts and their posters on your wall. That just to me is like,
cringe.
Let me have my little thing. So beyond tattoos and music, have you ever had an experience in your relationships where you are into something and the way I'm going to say this isn't the best way I'm trying to describe it, but somebody's stealing your shit?
Sure. So I don't think anyone's really stole my shit. I think I was a shit stealer.
Yeah?
I did that back in the day, in my early 20s. I was dating this guy who was like into motocross, right? Like rode dirt bikes, into extreme sports, all that. And I never really was exposed to that. And so I and I wouldn't say I was into it, but I definitely would watch it when I wasn't with him. So then we had something to talk about when we were together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't something I would normally watch.
Fun scene, by the way. The whole motocross.
Oh yeah,
sport.
Totally.
Great people, cool
so
dudes,
cool.
lots of fun,
everyone
great
was
parties.
Chill, laid back. Definitely a different world. It's almost like, I can't talk about wrestling, but I wouldn't say I turned into him by any means, but I took on, because that was his life. That was all he did and had. So I had to. Otherwise, we didn't really have anything else to talk about, or that was all he did. And I was basically in this relationship where everything was about him, and I just kind of was there, on the side, being like, yeah, this is cool. Hence why we're not together anymore. But that I did.
So you're not together because you tried to be him, and he was probably like, "No, not into it."
Okay, absolutely not. I ended that. And it wasn't because I tried to be him. I just was trying to learn about this thing he was so passionate about that I had no idea.
And I think there's a fine line there, because I can appreciate that. If you make an effort to learn and understand what your partner's into, that doesn't mean you have to be into it.
Right.
But I think that's definitely a positive quality.
Yeah.
Where if there's something in the world that I'm super passionate about that you don't understand, but for you to make any sort of effort to just go, oh, okay, that's what he's always talking about.
Right. Well, it's important. Otherwise, why are you with that person if you don't want to know if that's the one thing that they have, that they're into, that they're obsessed with, and you're like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that, then that's kind of let's that. No?
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Yeah.
I think that's, like I said.
I guess I didn't think of it like that. I thought of it oh, am I trying to be in this world that I don't belong? But now that when you're saying it like that, maybe I was being a good girlfriend, trying to learn about his thing.
Trying to learn, but not absorb it, not become it.
Yeah, it's not like I'm walking around wearing Fox Racing shirts and I wasn't doing that.
Okay, because that would have been too far.
Yeah, that would be cringe.
When I'm going, oh, wait a minute, no, you're better than that.
Not happening.
But I don't remember how the hell this relates to what we started talking about at the time.
You just started bringing it up. You were when you start being with someone and they start, adapting your traits, just kind of came out.
My brain is still in airplane mode.
That's okay.
Right
we can
now.
Turn that off, babe.
We'll
just
turn it off.
Hit the little off button, and we'll just come out of that.
Well, I'm going to lose my Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth too, so let's just... This isn't going to be a very productive podcast.
No, so we just got that out of the way. So you went to Orlando, right? What do you think the last 7 days, what happened for you on your end?
Well, aside from work,
Internally,
which was the reason that I actually went to Orlando. Right. I had a very valid reason and a very busy schedule while I was down there. But I found myself after the first day or two just kind of bored.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the polar opposite of what you were talking about, where you love to just be on your own. No other people. You like to just go
I don't
keep
like
to yourself.
humans. Get the hell away from me.
I, conversely, don't necessarily like a lot of humans, but I like to be around people that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have friends. I like to have conversation, discussion, any sort of mental stimulation.
I knew you were going to say that.
I need that.
Right.
Because sitting by myself in my room, the first day in my hotel room, I kept about as busy as I could, and I think I handled it pretty well.
Yeah, the first day you were fine.
I read my book that I've been trying to read for 6 months. I watched Hoarders because
Which
you weren't
I
there
hate.
to complain about.
I hate hoarders.
I wish that would be one thing you would accept and embrace and adopt
No,
about
and I won't.
me.
I
want
won't
you to
do it.
become,
I won't do it.
I want you to become obsessed with Hoarders. But I kept myself pretty occupied. Day 1, easy.
Fine.
Day 2, still pretty easy.
Okay.
And then work was involved. And,
Yeah.
and to the previous point, if I have something to occupy my mind, I'm good. But I'm my own worst enemy when I
Yes.
don't.
Well, so I'll say, I think it was like the second day you're already texting me saying like, I just want to be home with you and do our thing. And it's like one of those things where once you're removed from the situation, it makes you realize how much you like the situation you're in when you're not in it. You're like, oh my gosh, I missed that. And I can appreciate that because I feel the same way. Once you're gone, my mom actually came and visited. I had a few days with her. So that was really nice to just be with her and just show her the city and show her Pittsburgh. She's only been here once before. And that was on Christmas, so she didn't get to see anything. So I got to really walk around and enjoy the city with her. And then she left, and I was like, okay, now I'm like, can do my own thing. And I was like, oh, like, I miss Matt. Like, I just wish he was here. Like, I just feel everything is better when you're around, even though I do like to be alone, but I like to be alone with you.
Well, likewise. But I think this is a very different scenario from what we've talked about in the past regarding long-distance relationships.
Yeah.
This is a different scenario because the norm is now being
Now
together.
we're together. Whereas
We-
before, you're in Connecticut, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. We're traveling all the time for work. So we had no home base that was ours, you know? So it was constantly
Right, it was
back and
constant
forth.
striving for
The
time
normalcy.
together
Yeah.
under any circumstance, whereas now, having all of the time together, it's nice to be able to step back and just go, oh, okay, I'm not going to die without this person, but it makes me appreciate when I get to be with them.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. I love being with you. You make everything better. You're basically like ranch dressing.
I don't even need you to elaborate on that because I know exactly what you mean. Everyone likes ranch dressing.
Everything is better with ranch dressing on it.
Cool, I'll take it. That's the nicest thing you
Pizza,
ever said
French
to me.
fries. What else? Salad, buffalo wings. Although I do prefer blue cheese when it comes to buffalo wings.
Gross.
Come on, babe.
Blue cheese is disgusting.
Yeah. Never mind, you're not ranch dressing.
Wow.
Take it back.
I can't believe you retracted a compliment because I don't like blue cheese dressing.
But then I'll say, so once you're past the cute little phase of being like, oh, I miss you, I miss us, and then you start getting to a place where you're like, screw this, I'm mad at this thing sucks, this is shit. And like you start getting into this headspace where you've had too much time by yourself,
Right.
that you start complaining about things that aren't even a bad thing. You start creating issues in your head. Do you know what I mean? You do that.
1,000% am well aware
And
that
I
I
can
do
tell
that.
as soon as I get like the first text from you that I know I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And I have to try to be in like cleanup mode. Like, okay, how can I fix this? How can I assure him? And usually it just starts with me sending you a hot photo of myself, and then I get you out of it.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest. That cures most of my ills. You're not going to elaborate on that? You're just going to let that one sit?
Well, because I feel like, okay, the only way I know I can distract you is if I take a little, sexy photo. Don't put your head in it, ladies. Don't make that mistake.
Yeah.
Take your face out of it.
Be mindful. Take your face out or any identifying marks.
Right.
And we did a great deal of that, not just of one another and each other. Let's like, share a little tip, little tips and tricks with the world.
What
right?
helps us when we are apart? So we, I feel, send photos or maybe GIFs, if you will. You like to call them GIFs, which
No,
is
I
the
don't.
incorrect
That is a lie.
pronunciation.
I have never once.
You once called it a GIF to me, and I was like, "Get the out of here!
I
can't
never
date
called it
anyone
that.
who calls it a Jiffy."
You are making up
That's
lies
peanut
and
butter.
fallacies and half-truths today.
But things that we might, be interested in, or things that we like to do, you send a little GIF, like, "Ooh, babe, I want to try this," and then he'll send one back like, "Ooh, that's hot. Let's try that too." And then he'll send me one, and I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, let's do that."
And then before you know it, we're kicked off of the hotel Wi-Fi and we're breaking all sorts of privacy rules and laws, and it just gets totally out of hand. But it gets through the day.
It helps us
And-
when we're apart.
And I know it's not a concern in our relationship, but I could also see that being a good preventative measure in the event maybe it is a long-distance relationship, because we've done it for quite some
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
it
we've
started
been doing
back
it
then.
since we started dating.
Yeah, whereas like, oh, hey, it keeps your partner engaged, keeps them interested, keeps
Right.
it sexy when you can't be around. And it's
Right.
like, it doesn't have to be totally hardcore over the top. Like, obviously, everyone's got their own comfort
Yeah,
levels.
whatever you're into.
But it's just kind of that nice, like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about you, but a little bit more. And it
Yeah.
keeps it exciting. And after about 3 straight days of it, I'm ready to explode right now, which is why if I'm talking fast and not making much sense, it's because my mind is 75% on one subject that is not anything we're discussing at the moment.
Can I just say, ladies, if you're not sending your man, like, doesn't have to be fully naked, but like sexy lingerie photos, like there's something wrong with you. You have to do that, especially if you're not living together. Like, you have to do that. I'm sorry. I just feel like it's something that keeps the relationship going, keeps it spicy, and it gives your man something to look at when he misses you.
Continue.
Period.
I'm listening to you
I
pontificate.
just feel like, and I get it. Sometimes we feel like, oh, we're a little self-conscious about maybe you ate a lot that day and you feel bloated or whatever. But I promise you, your guy is not looking at that. And also, that's what, like, you got to find your angles. Google it. Google, like, ooh, hot photo of girl, or like look at some girls on Instagram and see what they're doing, and then like replicate it. And that the thing is, you have control over it, so you can put a filter on it, you can make it look cute, make sure that you're happy with it. You don't have to send him anything you're not comfortable with. But I just feel like that is something that, I don't know, I know that you've said to me before, when you're least expecting it and you open your phone and you see a text from me and then it's like a hot photo, you're like totally turned on because it's something that you weren't asking for it. It was just out of the blue. Like,
1,000%. That's just the ultimate, like, fun, sexy surprise.
right.
And no matter what mood I'm in, to your earlier point, I could be ready to, get into a fight or put my head in an oven and
Put my head in an oven. That's a good one.
and then all of a sudden I get the one attachment or attachment one image little notification, and all of a sudden I go, wonder what this is going to be. Oh my God, it's what I hoped for, and then some.
It's just like, if you feel like you're in a little rut, maybe in your relationship sexually, maybe take some cute photos. And even if you live together, it's okay. Maybe your man's at work, or you take a photo while he's at the gym or something, and then you just keep them on your phone and wait for the right time to send them.
And it's playing the long game, because you can do it for as long as absolutely necessary, to the point where I was at the airport at about 7 o'clock this morning and received some gifts. Not of you, but just in general.
Right.
Just very fun ideas.
Well, I
maybe?
think, other than the actual act of making love, the best part about it is the anticipation, right?
Correct.
So you want to build the anticipation, especially if you're in your long distance and okay, next week we're going to be together. Let's start building the anticipation.
It's basically been like 7 days of foreplay.
Right. So then it's like, bam, when you see each other, just
Setting it all up for
Yeah.
the big disappointment, baby.
But it's true. I just feel like I do like that time apart sometimes, because it makes you miss your partner, and it makes you, like, I don't know. It's like you can't touch each other. I just want to, like, human interaction, like human contact. I miss that. So then when I get it, I'm like, ooh, drives me nuts. And talk to Matt in like 3 days, see if he still likes me, because I'll be annoying the out of him later, I'm sure, once he gets what he wants out of me.
Did you say 3 days? I mean, let's be perfectly
you.
honest. I'll be happy to make it to sundown.
You're the worst.
What else did you do to keep yourself occupied during our time away from one another?
So I felt like I used this week to really just take my girl time. I got a facial. I got my nails done. I went and got a massage. I got a pedicure. I just like did the works. And it's not to say I can't do that when you're around.
Also, can I just say that's not exclusively girl stuff. That's all great stuff. Guys, if you're listening to this, or ladies, if you have a guy who you've been begging to go take care of himself, go get a goddamn pedicure. It's the best thing you will experience. It's a great way to waste some time. You feel awesome, and your feet won't be gross.
That's my biggest concern. Like when I start dating someone, their feet. Like, do they take care of their feet? And I'm not like a I don't, those people out there that have foot fetishes and, you post one photo and they're like, I'll give you $500 if you send me another photo of your foot. Like, people are really into feet. But which I also just found out Machine Gun Kelly is like has a foot fetish, because I read this article because now he's with Megan Fox, and they did the music video Bloody Valentine, his new song that came out, and he like made her put her foot on his face in the music video, and she's like, I knew he was gonna ask me to do that, so I got a pedicure because he's obsessed with my feet.
Hey, whatever you're into,
right? But I found that interesting. But
let's get off on a tangent here. I've never been a foot guy. Feet do not necessarily turn me on, but they can turn me way off if they're not taken care of.
Right. That's how I feel. That was how I got on this whole little tangent, because when I finally saw your feet for the first time, they were like perfectly taken care of. You have hot feet. Like, they're actually sexy. I was like, oh, okay, thank God. Because if I looked at your feet and they were like gross, straggly, like toenails dangling there, or like dirty, I would not be able to be with you. Because if you don't take care of your feet, what else aren't you taking care of?
Agreed.
Right?
I can't wait for the hygiene episode.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
So anyway, you took care you took care of yourself.
Yes.
You self-care days.
Yeah, I hung out on our roof. We have a really nice rooftop. We live downtown in Pittsburgh. I'll give you our address. Put all out there. But we have this beautiful rooftop. I sat up there, read a book. I'm not a huge reader, but I just felt like I just wanted to be I know what I did not do? Sit down and watch TV. I didn't do that the whole entire week. Like, I watched the news in the morning, which, by the way, I never watched the news until I started dating Matt. So thank you for that. I'm well informed. But I didn't want to sit down and just watch TV. I really just wanted to be out and do things. And I went to the sauna. I got cryotherapy. Just really wanted to take care of myself and just feel good. And I feel amazing. Not only physically, but mentally. I feel like to be able to take care of myself, do my own thing. And now I'm like, okay, now Matt comes home. I feel good. I feel mentally rested.
And I would say the same on my end, particularly because of the day and a half I spent doing literally nothing.
Which you can't. He can't do nothing, you guys. He can't just sit and chill. I've taught you a little bit since we've been together about just the art of relaxation, because
Yes.
he's always on the go.
I am still but a Padawan in the ways of relaxation. That was a Star Wars joke. I know you wouldn't get it, but
I've never seen it.
okay. This is
I am your fault. Is that Star Wars?
yeah.
Tell me. Okay, I was
Yeah.
going to be really embarrassed if it wasn't.
It would have been really funny if it wasn't. But but I've gotten to the point where I can not totally freak out for a day or two at a time. Luckily, I didn't have to spend more than one day
In a
a row.
Yeah.
by myself in my hotel room. But I know we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, not on the show, but at home, how we were just going to like waste a day in bed and watch movies. And by 9:30 in the morning, both of us were up out of
Like,
bed.
you want to go take the cake. Or
Yeah.
take the cake.
Take the cake.
Take pancake for a walk. And we already walked in.
I think that's a new thing now. Hey,
Take
are you
the
going to go
cake.
take the cake? Take pancake for a walk.
And we did. By 10 a.m., we're already, down by the point walking the dog. So
Yeah, can't do it.
it's
But
impossible.
to that
If it
point,
was rainy out, maybe.
okay,
But when it's beautiful out, it's hard.
sure. But I had several different instances where I had the opportunity to do nothing and just like lay in bed and sleep. I woke up super early, had to go get a test taken, got back to my hotel at, I don't know, 7:15 a.m. The sun was still coming up. And I went, oh, well, I have nothing else to do. I'm going to go back to sleep. Next thing I know, it's what, noon?
Yeah, it was like 12:30.
So it was 12:30. I wake up, eat some food, do a bunch of nothing.
We're texting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like an hour goes by, you're not responding. I'm like, hello. And it's 5 p.m. Sorry, I just woke up from a nap. I'm like, what the are you doing?
Hey,
but you know what?
I needed
you
it.
needed it. And sometimes it's good to just do that. And I think, especially because of our jobs and what we do and just how the world works nowadays, are constantly, okay, on to the next thing, on the go. What can I be doing to better my job, better my family, better my bank account? It's always on to the next thing. And it's almost taboo to just sit and do nothing. You're looked at like, oh, a lazy piece of shit. But no, sometimes it's good.
Let me ask you this. Is it something that you currently or have recently dealt with where you have that wonder, like, I wonder what he's doing right now? No?
I don't really care. And I mean that in
yeah,
like
I was just
good
curious
way.
because I think everyone's at least been in a relationship where you're like, oh, well, they didn't text me back. I wonder what he's up to, what he's doing. I obviously was sleeping or eating.
So I feel like for the most part, and I'm finally, I think, at the point in my life where if I have to, and I've been in relationships before where I'm like, oh, what is he doing? Why isn't he responding? And most of the time they're out at strip clubs or whatever they're doing, and, you know, different day and age and who I was at that time. But nowadays, if you're going to go around on me, then see you later. That's kind of the where my mental mind.
Your mental mind as opposed to your other mind. As opposed to your hypothetical mind. And
that's where my mentality is. I don't care. I'm not going to chase a man. I'm not going to beg you to like pay attention to me. Like, you want to do what you want to do. If you go around me, then you're not the dude for me. That's where I'm at. I don't really care anymore. So that's why I don't care what you do. I can't get mad. And I feel like you're usually, I would hope, always honest with me.
Usually.
I would hope you're honest with me. And, you know, I have nothing to hide. You have nothing to hide. So.
Now, how did you arrive at that point? Was that more something with yourself? Like, was it insecurity you had to overcome?
Not an insecurity, but just I've been in relationships in the past where the guy constantly lies about where they are, or, you know, lies about what they're doing, promises me I'm not going to do this anymore, but then they still do it. And I realized, you know what, this is so like exhausting, having to keep up with them and having to check in on them, make sure they're not lying to me or seeing what they're doing or calling that. I don't want to live my life like that anymore. And I just feel if you're not the guy for me because you're doing XYZ and not telling me, then I'll find someone that will be honest with me. That's how I look at it. Do you know what? And I
totally
don't mean that.
No,
in a negative
I'm
way.
asking for more of a general sense.
Yeah,
as
just
far
because
as
I was in it for so long in different relationships where the lies and the lies and the lies, and just I can't keep up with that anymore. I'm done with that. I don't like to play games. Honesty is the best policy.
Agreed.
How about you? Are you wondering what I'm doing?
No.
Because you know most of the time I'm not doing anything
Yeah,
except sitting at home drinking wine.
You're also like miraculously skilled at texting back instantly.
I am.
Like at no point have I ever gone more than like 15 minutes without
I just
waiting
hate
for a
when
response.
people don't text back. I can see if you're doing something, but I don't like, oh, when you read the text, then, oh, I'm just not going to respond. No, like, that's rude. Respond to the person texting you. Does that make sense?
Sure does. So after 7 days of alone time or time apart from one another, what would you say is your biggest takeaway?
That a little time alone does my body good. It's like milk, you know? Does the body good. Got milk.
Is there milk in ranch dressing?
There should be. Milk and ranch dressing, those are the two caveats of today's.
You're not entirely sure what caveat means, are you?
I do, but I was like, is this the right word? No, I just feel like a little alone time is good, and I need it. If we go way too long without getting alone time, then I'm going to start bitching at you for something or complaining or get mad at you for something that I wouldn't normally be mad about, because I like to be alone. So I think our limit is maybe like 2 weeks, even if it's, hey, I'm going to go spend a day at the spa or go to the mall and do something by myself. Because then it's like, it makes me miss you, and it makes you appreciate your partner that much more when you get a little bit of time away from them. Because let me tell you, I've been in relationships before when you have time apart and you don't miss them, and that's a red flag. Like, I will never forget, Pam asked me one time, she was like, oh, like, do you miss your boyfriend? Because, you know, I was living in Florida training and he was back in Massachusetts. And I was like, no. She's like, you don't? And I'm like, no, that's weird. She's like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I guess that's a red flag. And then a couple weeks later, I broke up with him.
Yeah, that's a pretty massive red flag.
Yeah. So if you miss your partner, and I'm not to say like, oh, you can joke, oh, I don't miss him, but you genuinely know in your heart if you miss someone when they're not around. And I miss you, baby.
Well, I'm back. And we've got a lot of important devious behaviors to engage in.
But wait, what did you take away from the last 7 days?
That I love 7-Eleven sub sandwiches.
Fuck, I cannot. This to me, if you eat food from 7-Eleven, and I'm not saying like a bag of chips or a cookie that they make there. Ugh. Like, I get if you're drunk. No, don't get me wrong. I've had many drunken nights where you end up at 7-Eleven and everything looks like it's a, you know, an amazing 5-star restaurant meal. But if you willingly are like in the afternoon, like, I'm hungry and you have so many options, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven and get a sub? What? Babe.
It did the job
come on.
Twice this week.
Come on.
Listen, don't judge me.
So that's what you got out of the last 7 days. Not like, oh, Leah, I love you and I miss you and I want to do bad things to you.
Well, those things were all sort of in my head before I left. It just exacerbated them as the 7 days went on and on and on, and I'm very happy to be back.
On and on and on and on and on.
But yeah, I think that's it. There's the takeaway. If you have to learn anything, it's that sometimes a little time away with yourself is good. Don't forget who you are.
Yeah.
Don't turn into your partner because you want a partner, not a clone.
Yeah. I don't want to date myself. Although I'm like pretty fucking perfect. So, I mean, I can see why you would want to date me, but I don't want to date myself.
Not only are you hot, you're very humble.
I am so far from perfect. It's not even funny. But you know what is funny?
What's funny?
Here's a mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail!
Am I going to be legally required to acknowledge that that's the Blues Clues mail song so that, much like Doug and Carrie Heffernan, Steve, the guy from Blues Clues, doesn't try to sue us? Oh
I'm pretty sure Steve died.
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure that's an urban legend.
Is it?
I think.
Also, like the same thing with Avril Lavigne. Like Avril Lavigne apparently died, and now there's someone that's pretending to be her. It's not really Avril. Like, what is up with this? It's so weird. Don't you think?
Yeah, people have too much free time on their hands.
Way too much.
That's what happens when you're not in a relationship and you've got nothing but free time.
Right. But I do appreciate the free time that these people have had to write in for their questions because we have plenty of great questions. So we're going to start out with question number 1, honey. I got a question about relationships advice. Okay.
You should practice more reading.
English.
Do you need me to give you more alone time?
This isn't proper English. We're going to go back. Okay. Question number 1, honey.
Can we just talk about how uncomfortable that makes me? Not only the voice, but this weird face that you do and this shoulder
that's
shake.
my question voice.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
Get off my back, bro. Let's hear your question voice. What do you got?
I emailed you the questions so that
Yeah,
you
but
could
just say
ask
question
them.
number 1.
Question number 1.
Oh, you. Question number 1, honey. Hello, Matt and Leah. Everyone keeps on telling me that there's someone out there for you. They always say there's someone for everyone. How come I haven't found mine? Yours sincerely, Leon. What do you think, babe?
I think it's all about timing, and I don't necessarily believe in fate that there is someone for everyone, but I feel as though everybody has the ability to get along with someone in a relationship.
Really?
Yes, and I think there's a lot of trial and error involved. Some people are going to have better options than other ones just based on society and the way people look and the job you make and the money you make or don't make. Everyone's different, but it's trial and error. If you find someone that makes you happy, forget the rules, forget all the societal standards and let's put a label on it. This is my girlfriend or this is someone that I date. Whatever the label is, labels be damned. If you can spend time around someone and they make you laugh and they make you happy and you miss them when you're not with them, go for it.
And I just feel like I'm kind of opposite in you. I do feel like there's like people have their soulmates. I'm not saying you only have one. I think you could maybe have a few, but when you do find that person, you'll know, and you can't rush it. I've been in relationships in the past where I was with someone and I knew they weren't the one, but sometimes you just stay for whatever reason, right? And then when I broke up with my last relationship ended, I like seriously manifested Matt. I'm not even kidding. I really like put out into the universe like what I was looking for. I just really genuinely wanted someone that would accept me for me, and I wouldn't have to be who they wanted me to be. And I felt like, oh my gosh, like how am I ever going to find someone that A, I'm attracted to, B, is fucking hot, C, like all of these things. But I manifested you, and here you are. So maybe try a little manifestation if you're into that.
I just got the urge to sing. You know that song Hey Leonardo by, I think it's Blessed Union of Souls? She likes me for me.
Oh yeah.
Not because. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Enough of that. See, this is one of those things, those traits that you have that I'm absorbing and I don't want. I don't want to spontaneously break into song.
You have a song for everything. You're like the donkey on Shrek. Okay.
Also, to that last question, don't look for it. It will just happen. It will fall in your lap.
Yeah, you can't force it. When the time is right, it will happen. And sometimes you meet someone and you might not meet that person expecting, oh, this is the person I'm going to spend forever with. But sometimes it just happens and it grows. So keep an open mind and an open butthole.
Jesus.
Okay. Question number 2, honey.
Did you really just say keep an open butthole? Is that really where your mind went?
Open your mind and open your legs, but
that would have somehow been less offensive than
right.
keep an open butthole.
I don't know. Come on, I'm just joking.
That's what I'm dealing with.
All right. Question number 2, honey. That's dos or deux if you speak français. Okay. I have a question about relationship advice. I've been sitting around for ages waiting for my boyfriend to propose, and now I don't think it will happen. Should I propose to him or just wait for him to do it for me? Okay, here's what I'm going to say. You can't force or pressure a man into proposing. You cannot force a man or pressure him into proposing. I cannot say it enough. If you do that, they're not going to do it. Just to spite you. Like they're just going to not do it because they want to piss you off. You can't force a man to do anything. You can't force anyone to do anything really. But I feel like women that give men ultimatums, to me, nothing pisses me off more than an ultimatum. If he doesn't want to be with you, he doesn't want to marry you, then find somebody else. Like if you're saying, oh, you better marry me or I'm going to leave you. Okay, then bye, bitch. That's what I would say if I was a dude. See you later. You can't force a man to propose to you. Period.
You can't force a man to put his cell phone on silent when recording a podcast either. It's my prerogative.
Get your together. Do you agree?
I don't have anything better to say than what you just did. I mean, I've never been in a position where I feel obliged to not even propose, but any sort of ultimatum to your point. But yeah, it's a big turnoff. I understand if it's something that needs to happen for an external reason, like you have a deadline to hit of some sort, but not for what is essentially a label or your own.
What do you mean a deadline? Like what sort of deadline would you need to hit?
If you give me an ultimatum,
your taxes?
Well, yeah, you're like, hey, you need to do this so that we can do that, or
right, maybe health insurance.
Yeah, if you don't book the Airbnb, we can't go on vacation. But I don't look at that as like an ultimatum. If you're like, hey, do this thing.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to marriage, obviously, like, how can you force someone, if this is someone you genuinely love and you want to be with and you want to marry, how are you going to say to them, look them in their eyes and say, marry me or I'm leaving you?
That's a valid point.
If this is someone that you want to marry, to me, I've never understood it. And if they don't want to marry you, but you want to get married, well, then it's not for you. Find someone else that wants to marry you. Is that harsh?
No, I think it's the truth. That's what we're after, right?
Yeah.
There you go. No more ultimatums.
No more ultimatums, or else, except for listen to our podcast or go f*** yourself.
Wow.
That's an ultimatum.
Was that an ultimatum?
No, it wasn't. It was a joke.
No. Well,
And not a very funny one.
no. Is there anything else? I know the mailbag was full.
The mailbag is full. Should we answer one more question? Let's see.
I think we got time for one more.
Okay. Dear Matt, Leah, and Pancake. Shout out to Mr. Cakes. Huge fan of the show and your daily IG live sessions. Had a question for y'all. I am a male around both your ages in my 30s. I have been on dates with women, but never really clicked with any of them. I have not been in a long-term or serious relationship. I don't know what the problem is. I feel women do not really get me or have similar interests or values. In addition, I have never really been attracted to a girl on a deeper level. Physical is easy, right? You see it, you like it. How do I attract or find a woman? I can see and feel the chemistry between y'all. I have never had that. My friends are all coupled up now too, which does not help. Where do I begin? Great question.
It's a tremendous question. I don't know that I have the proper answer to that, but I'm just going to fudge it like I always do.
Let's hear it.
I think back to the question we answered two back. You can't force it. It just takes time. Like if you've never had that, maybe try something different. If there's some part of you that is kind of like you have questions that you need to answer about yourself, whether that be orientation-wise or interest-wise or you got to explore.
But I also think it's okay to not have had a serious relationship in your 30s because I know like sometimes you're focusing on your career or you're dating someone and you're like, oh, this isn't really going anywhere. You can't put pressure on yourself to find the perfect person. And you're saying you can't find someone that's similar interests. I think that's okay. It's like based off this whole entire episode, it's important to have different interests. Otherwise, it's boring.
Right.
And I think sometimes we have this preconceived notion of who we want to be with. This is our type, for example, or, what we're into. But maybe have an open mind. Find someone that you might want to learn more about and learn things like you said, like you're teaching me about music and what you like. And I'm teaching you about I don't even know what
The
I'm
Real
teaching
Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Exactly. But it's okay to have different interests. But you can't keep putting pressure on yourself to find someone because it'll happen when it's meant to be.
Don't force it. Just find someone you like hanging out with and hang out with them and see where it goes.
And I think sometimes it's okay to just approach someone if you find them attractive and ask them some questions and get to know them. I think especially nowadays, everyone's on dating apps and on their phones. Whatever happened to the good old fashioned, hey, how you doing? Let me buy you a drink. Or you look like you're bored. Can I chat you up? Or I don't know. I'm really bad at opening lines. I don't know what you would say to somebody. But if you just see them out, don't be afraid.
You look bored. Can I chat you up?
I don't know. I never
I
do
noticed
the
you're
first
wearing
line.
sneakers. I like shoes too.
It's so embarrassing. That's a terrible
Is that
line.
a mouse in your pocket? I have a cat at home.
I'm crying. I see you're bored. Can I chat you up? If anyone said that to me, I'd be like, F off. So maybe don't use that line. I'm really sorry. But you get the point I'm going for. Just don't be afraid to talk to somebody if you might find them attractive. That's it.
You like walls? My house has 4 of them.
I noticed you're over here breathing.
I know a good place to find oxygen.
I like to breathe too. Oh my God.
This
so
has
bad.
gone off the rails.
Oh my God. But yeah, I don't know. I guess figure it out or you're going to be alone forever.
Hey, you emailed us for advice. Figure it out.
No, that's terrible. I really do appreciate all of these questions that are coming in. And obviously, Matt and I are not experts by any means, clearly. But, we can just kind of tell you what we think and take it or leave it.
Don't rush it. Just be you. Don't try to be anybody that you're not because that will burn out a lot sooner than later.
It's hard to keep up with that if you're trying to be someone you're not.
Yeah, just be you. And if you find someone that likes to hang out with you, awesome. Or if somebody knocks you off your feet when you spend 5 minutes with them and you're like, oh, this person's amazing, maybe you put in a little work. It ain't easy.
Relationships are hard work, and it's hard to stay together. If it was easy, why would people get divorced? Why are people breaking up? Like, there's so much you have to work on, and you can't be selfish. You have to, there's a give and take in everything. And I'm going to take
this opportunity to bring the show to a screeching halt. Keep sending the emails to the mailbag, bearwithuspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at bearwithuspod. Keep sending in all your comments, leaving comments and 5-star reviews. It's been helping. We're continuing to grow this, but we can't do it.
You guys are so amazing.
Without you. Keep these awesome questions coming. There are a lot more to get to. Trust me. I opened the email today and was kind of blown away. So we're going to answer a few each and every week until we get through them. And
or maybe we'll have so many we'll have to do an entire episode based off of the questions. It's a question and answer episode, if you will. Would you guys like that? Yes or no? Let us know.
Do you know what I'm going to go home and do?
Me.
You know what I'm going to do after I do that?
What?
Eat Magic Spoon.
Ooh!
And then
My
after
magic
that,
spoon.
I might do you again.
Ugh, lucky me.
Goodbye forever.
Bye, guys.
Aren't you going to say bear with us?
Bear with us.
Wow. After all these weeks.
You know I'm not good at closings.
We know where your head's at.